This video is sponsored by the Mersey Blue podcast, your home of all things Everton.
Hi guys, hello and welcome back to another video right here on the channel. So it's the beginning of the month, which means what, Melody?
Streetfighter time.
It's Streetfighter time. So we've had another delivery off our friends at Fanhome.
Yep.
Okay, or Fan Zone as I've called it on previous videos and been corrected. Okay, so what we do guys, if you're new here, is we have 4 magazines and 4 figures to show you. Then at the very end we do a little montage with the characters and the figures. So Mel, shall we get into it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually issue number 11. Can you believe that?
I know.
11 issues in already. Okay, so guys, this is Balrog, who features in this issue here. Okay, he's like the boxer. I think in Street Fighter 2, I think he was like an underboss, if memory serves me right. Okay, so these guys have a little bit of a profile, a little bit of a backstory, and what I normally do is just basically introduce them off, okay? So it just says, Balrog the Crazy Buffalo, the boxer who can knock down an elephant. Oof. I do hope it's Dalsim's elephant. Any of the longer time viewers know the relevance of that one. Okay, after a fall from grace, just as he was about to win the heavyweight champion title, Balrog ended up becoming one of the 4 kings of the criminal organisation, Shadaloo, but he would rather fight than be a leader. So yeah, he was like an underboss. Okay, so we get a little bit about him being the world fighter, and it says, did you know? On there, little bit of a bio here, little bit of a bio. Okay, I haven't got my teeth in today. Okay, just finished recording the podcast before we come on here. Okay, so the man with 2 names. Okay, and his bio is Balrog. Date of birth September the 4th.
Oh,
which is tomorrow. At time of recording, 1968. Age in Street Fighter 2, he was 23. His height is listed as 1.98 metres, 135 kilos in weight. And his first appearance, interestingly, was 1987 in the original Street Fighter.
Oh.
So he is literally one of the old, and I got the quote here. It has been a very boring fight. Do you want me to call somebody to pick up your teeth off the floor?
Oh.
Okay, so we've got amazing strength and speed here. And then we have a little bit about his attacks. Okay, so there's the anti-air hook, which is a big uppercut. Okay, the vertical header and the elephant knocker, and there's pictures of those on there. Have you faced Balrog?
No, I don't really want to.
Okay, I have on a few occasions. It's not as bad as what he looks, to be fair. And there is his poster there in the centre of the magazine.
Cool picture.
Yeah, pretty ferocious guy, isn't he? Mm. Then moving on. The Legend of Street Fighter, and we now, this issue, every issue we go on to different versions of the Street Fighter franchise. As you all know, probably better than me, there's like that many versions of Street Fighter. Okay, so this issue we go over Street Fighter Alpha 2, the sequel to Street Fighter Alpha, improved on the original in every respect. So it basically just shows us a little bit about that particular game in question. Okay. And then the history of Capcom, which I know a lot of people, particularly Jason and Justin, really enjoy. And this time we are meeting Strider Hiryu, the ninja from the future. Okay, from the game Strider. So we see Strider there. And the history of Capcom continues on the back. Strider strikes back. Strider's return was delayed, but the wait was worth it. And that is showing us some of his game on the Sony PlayStation. Okay, finishing off with a little illustration of Balrog and a little symbology on the back there. And Mel is now going to show you Balrog's mini. Okay, so again guys, you'll see this at the end of the video. Let's move on to issue number 12. I'd said to Mel before filming that I'm going to get caught out on this one because I only know Balrog and I know our next one now, even though I've never faced her before, and the other 2 guys I have no idea of. So there's going to be people screaming at me like, this was so-and-so and he was in such and such a game. Okay, so we have issue 12 and we have Cammy. Okay, there she is. Yeah. So straight away she looks like Guile, doesn't she? With the kind, she looks almost military with the green kind of outfit on there and a beret. Okay, so Cammy the Killer Bee, the fighter who escaped from the clutches of Shadaloo. Okay, so we found out Balrog previously was one of the kingpin bosses of Shadaloo. So obviously you'd have like a little bit of a rivalry here if you had Cammy and you had Balrog together, wouldn't you? Okay, so we've got that little bit of reading there. And again, I always say to you, Mel, this is excellent, because if there's a character you really fancy playing and you're not sure,
Yeah.
you can have a look, can't you?
Have a little read.
Yeah, read up, because you've done the one on Chun-Li, I think, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so the player, a little bit of a bio, The Awakening of Cammy White. Ooh. Okay. Did you know? Pretty, deadly and charismatic. Well, I got that impression of her, to be fair. Okay, so her bio, date of birth, January 6th, 1974. Age in Super Street Fighter 2, she was 19 years old. Okay, young lady.
Yeah.
1.64 metres in height, 61 kilos in weight, and her first appearance was Super Street Fighter 2, the new Challengers, in 1993. Okay, so there's a few little images of Cammy White. There. Okay, and again, we're going to go over the same stuff. Each issue is the same, but
yeah,
packed with fun stuff. Okay, so speed and agility. So we're getting the impression automatically that she's like a bit of an acrobat. She might be a bit of a Chun-Li, really.
Yeah.
You know? So we have her moves. The ascending arc, the explosive mix, and the finishing touch. So they are cannon spike, spin drive smasher, and a cross stinger assault. So there's our lady in action there with those moves. And again, this is always handy, because if you get a new player, a new character,
yeah,
and you want to learn what their moves are,
yeah,
like the Hadouken or whichever,
yeah,
you know. Oh, that's a nice picture. Okay, so there we see Cammy in the centrefold spread there. Ooh. Okay, so these are really, really good. I think very cheeky. I think what we might do with these, I've had a little thought about it. Maybe take the posters out in a possible future giveaway. Maybe when the series is over, put them all in there or something. Possibly. Let me know what you think below. Actually, really, you know. Okay, so the Legend of Street Fighter continues, and this one is Ultra Street Fighter 2. The 7th revision of Street Fighter 2 gave new life to the classic. Okay, Ultra Street Fighter 2 adds original fighters and play modes. So there we see a little bit about that there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, for you folks there. And then back again for Melody to finish her little look.
Cool.
Okay. So as always, you go away, there's always like nice reading, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, in these. Okay, the history of Capcom, 1943 and the sequels. 1943 is one of my favourite games. We got it on a Capcom arcade machine over there. Okay, and it's basically you're in a little plane and you're flying in the Pacific and you're trying to shoot down the Japanese Air Force and make your way to bomb destroyers, big boats, battleships. Okay. And War in the 21st Century. The 1942 saga continued in the new century with new sequels. And sure enough, our Capcom arcade machine appears on the bottom there. So it just shows us that there. Little picture of said machine we were talking about, which I have here in the studio for those little moments when I get creative block.
Yeah.
In fact, no, just when I want to play Street Fighter 2, really. Okay. There is Cammy in her little illustration there. Mel, would you like to show the good folks Cammy's figure? Okay.
Sorry about the glare, guys.
Yeah, glare a little bit harsh, yeah, lights overhead. Okay, so that is Cammy. Going on to the last two characters, which I say I'm like Mel now, I'm blind. So issue 13 is Fei Long.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it. And there he is there. This guy is a little bit like, I think it's Lee from Tekken, or he's almost like a Bruce Lee.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
kind of character. I mean that as in like he's got like these sort of black training pants and the martial arts shoes, which I don't know what they're called, but someone will tell me in the comments below. I'll probably just call them pumps because I'm like, you know, old and ignorant really. Okay, Fei Long, the dragon from Hong Kong.
Ooh.
Poet who doesn't know it. Okay, famous actor and master fighter. Fei Long is the most famous actor in martial arts movies in the world. His skill is real, however, and not down to special effects, since he's also an expert in Kung Fu and has even created his own fighting style. Okay, so there is an illustration of Fei Long there. Okay, so we have a little player bio. From movie sets to the fighting rings, when everything's been said and done, the winner is determined by the decisiveness of his spirit. Did you know? An immortal legend, the great Bruce Lee, clearly was the inspiration behind the character of Fei Long. There's a lovely picture of Bruce Lee here, like in a statue, which I'll show in a minute. Okay, so date of birth, 23rd of April, 1969. He was 24 years old at the time of Street Fighter 2. 1.72 metres in height, 60 kilogram in weight, and he first appeared in Super Street Fighter 2 in 1993. Okay, so again, just what I've said about there, guys, and there's a little statue of the immortal Bruce Lee. Always nice to see, and obviously a fighting game, going to be heavily influenced by the martial arts master himself, isn't he? Okay, skills and techniques, flowing like water, Shinyaku, the Ascending Dragon. Okay, and then we go on to, this is where I'm going to butcher it now. In fact, no, I'm not going to butcher, I'm going to give it to English titles. The Deadly Combination, The Reign of Knuckles, and The Maw of the Dragon. Any of you guys who can do better with Japanese than myself, please feel free to do that for me there. I've already butchered the video, I think, without sort of attempting. Would you like to attempt any of that?
No.
Nah, I don't blame you, really. Okay, so we've got a pair of nunchucks here.
Oh.
Ready to Enter the Dragon for any of you martial arts fans out there. Okay, so that was a lovely little poster of our boy there. And just moving on. Legend of Street Fighter and it's Street Fighter Alpha 3. A superb conclusion to the Alpha trilogy. Now, I'd heard of the name, but I didn't know there was a trilogy of games. So you see, even an ardent retro gamer like myself, who's not a massive fighter fan to be fair, learned something out of these. Street Fighter Alpha 3 is one of the most complete games in the franchise, and the page tells us why. And it goes on and says the most complete version. And it's shown there on the PSP, of all things, Alpha Max 3. So, you know, to you guys who may have played that particular version, all the power to you, and it's listed on there, as we can see.
Yeah.
And then the history of Capcom. Astonishing license, Willow for arcades and NES. Wasn't Willow one of the 80s movies? It rings a bell, but for the life of me, I can't think. Someone's screaming at me and tell me what it's about now. Let me know below, what was Willow about? I'm sure it was like a fantasy movie of the 80s there. Okay, so it just shows us screenshots of the game, which by the look of that, I'd imagine... It
looks a bit fantasy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd say maybe, possibly SNES, Super Nintendo, by the look of that. Again, correct me, guys. Well, don't correct me, just let me know. Because, you know, there's only a silly question, you know, if you don't know the answer or whatever, isn't it, you know?
Yeah.
The 8-bit Willow, finishing off the history of Capcom there. Capcom decided to create something different for the NES. Okay, and that looks like it's the same game, but like maybe a role-playing one. So maybe something Justin, you may have played there, buddy, because I know Justin likes his role-playing games.
Yeah.
And a little quick illustration of our cover star. And if you'd like to do the honours and show us the figure, please. Thank you. Okay,
there
so you can see he's got a very Bruce Lee.
All his muscles, all his glory.
Oriental kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And finishing off, we go with a character called Akuma.
Oh.
Akuma Matata. That's a wrong movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have issue 14 and we have Akuma on there. So let's find out who Akuma
Looks a bit scary to me.
actually is.
Ooh.
Okay. Akuma, the fighting ogre. That's probably why it's scary. From warrior to demon in the shape of a man. In his youth, Akuma was a very gifted fighter with great potential, but his relentless search for knowledge and power led him to cross forbidden lines. Now he is more an ogre than a human being, more demon than man.
Oh.
So maybe Mel's instinct was right there to be a little bit weary of Akuma. So let's keep going and find out, shall we? A little bit more. Okay, he says, do you really think you're going to win? Not even death can touch me, but she can touch you, so I'm going to send you with her. Okay, so he appears to be quite a dark character there. I like him already. So it said, did you know it all started as a joke? Akuma made his debut in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo as the ultimate final boss. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so his profile, date of birth is unknown. His height is 1.78 metres. He weighs 80 kilos. First appearance says Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo in 1994. Okay, so a few little illustrations there of the particular page we just described.
It does look scary with them red eyes.
He does, doesn't he? Okay, then moving on to his skills and techniques. So the power of the Satsui no Hado. Crikey. The flaming Sekia Gashoa gives Akuma a great advantage in long distances. Okay, so he says, yeah, the name of this move is called the Fiery Hadouken. So we have the Zanku Hadouken, we have the Shun Goku Satsu, and the Sakia Kuritsua. Sorry guys.
Well done.
Okay, so yeah, maybe Samurai Ken, K-Titus could maybe help you out with some of those pronunciations. And there is Akuma in all his glory. Yeah, if you're watching, Ken, please please DM me, mate, and let me know where I'm going wrong with these pronunciations of Japanese, apart from attempting them, to be fair. Okay, The Legend of Street Fighter games. So this time we see Street Fighter 3, the new generation. Street Fighter 3 offers a remarkable leap in the fluidity of the animations. Okay, so like I said to you before, for anyone watching who's not really sure of these games or why, there's about 5,000 iterations of every fighter game imaginable. They all add different characters, little slight nuances, little advantages, little disadvantages. They change things up, so the players who are like really good, they notice the differences. You and I, after a couple of like vodkas or something, have a quick go at Street Fighter. We don't know, we just bash buttons. Okay, so that's a little bit there about Street Fighter 3 New Generations. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, we are. History of Capcom, animated fantasies, games with a Disney license, and there were an awful lot of them. And this issue features Ducktales. Okay, so that's Huey, Dewey and Louie, isn't it? Yeah. If you have a little look there, guys, I think it started off on the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Nice little game. I've actually played it, you know, it's quite tricky if I recall. Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, and then more Disney adventures. Maybe definitely a magazine for Melody to have a look at after the video here.
Yeah.
After DuckTales, Capcom adapted many other Disney products. So we see Tailspin, The Magical Quest, and a couple of others there. Okay, so there we go. And we finished there with our little sketch of Akuma. And it wouldn't be complete without Melody showing you the figure. Okay, so there he is. Okay, and like Mel says, he does look a little bit tasty, doesn't he? Okay, guys, so we are going to leave it there for this particular episode. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. You returning folks, thank you from us both as always. Leave us comments below, guys. If you haven't already. Favourite fighter? What's your favourite figure from this video? Have you played with any of these fighters? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? You know, do you find them difficult to fight against? Which version of Street Fighter is your favourite out of the ones we've listed? Are you like ourselves and Justin and Jason who play like retro games and are enjoying the actual history of Capcom? Let us know, guys, in the comments below. We will see you next month for another Street Fighter 2 figurine collection. Melody, say goodbye.
Bye bye for now.
See you later, guys. See you next month.